Hello everybody and welcome to this new codeLive. My name is Philippe Ozil. I'm a developer advocate at Salesforce, and today we're here to explore advanced patterns for platform events and change data capture. And what we're going to do today is I have actually 3 slides that I want to show you, and the rest will be hands-on, just in the pure codeLive tradition. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a very brief refresher on the streaming APIs, make sure that everybody's on the same level, and then we'll get on the hands-on part. All right, so here we go. Without any further ado, let's get kicked off on this. So, refresher on the streaming APIs. What do you know about the streaming APIs? Maybe some things you don't know. Let's go for our 2 slides. So what do we call the streaming APIs? There are in fact a number of them. Some of you may have heard about different terms, and the concept is not always used in the same way depending on who is speaking, but I want to give you a brief overview about what streaming APIs entail. I have grouped them in 2 categories. As a matter of fact, I have the so-called legacy streaming APIs, and these are the ones we won't be talking about today, but I do want to mention them because they're technically part of the streaming APIs, and they were actually called the streaming API if you've been around in the ecosystem for some time. These are generic and push topic events. So we won't be covering those, but do know that they exist. There's still some projects that use them. The reason why I'm saying legacy is that we are no longer investing in those, and these are clearly not the future. Of course, they're part of the Salesforce ecosystem, so we will continue to support them, but do know that they are not going to be main investment focus. Now, there are a number of other things that are really more modern, and this is what we're going to talk about today. On the other side of the board here, we have platform events and change data capture. And these are really the ones we'll be focusing on today. And these entail the regular platform events, custom platform events, standard platform events, and also change data capture. The standard change data capture, but also the custom change data capture. Then there's also another thing which is not represented on this slide here, but it is still important. There's also events monitoring, which is an add-on feature that also leverages those APIs. And all of these 4 different event types represent the streaming APIs. Now, there's also another thing we need to know. These different streaming APIs are using different transport. So what is a transport? Well, it's the technology we use to deliver those APIs, those events, from the subscribers to the receivers, or to the from the publishers to the subscribers. What we have here is something called the Salesforce Events Bus. Historically, the Salesforce Event Bus was using a technology called CommitD. CommitD works for all 4 API types, and it's still maintained. We're still going to use it for some time, but we've also recently introduced a new technology called the PubSub API, which is using a totally different technology called gRPC. And this is really state-of-the-art. It's actually something that is the future of streaming APIs. So for the moment, there are these 2 mechanisms that coexist, but one key difference between those 2 is that PubSub API is only available for platform events and change data capture. I won't be talking too much about PubSub API today, but this is something I've covered extensively online, and I'll share some resources later if you're interested in exploring the PubSub API. Now, the second and last slide that I want to share with you today before we really jump into the hands-on part is this one. When working with the streaming API, whether it's platform events, change data capture, or even the legacy API types, we work with a number of subscribers and publishers. And here you have a brief overview of the different options you have in terms of publishers and in terms of subscribers. The Salesforce Event Bus is within Salesforce, but you can also publish events outside of Salesforce and also subscribe to events outside of Salesforce. The advantage of working with this kind of event-driven architecture is that it allows for strong decoupling of the different parts, and it's great for integrations within Salesforce, but also outside of the Salesforce ecosystem. All right, so this is just to give us a brief overview. Now I'm done with the slides here. I really want to focus on the key aspects of today's codeLive, which is really doing hands-on code and hands-on demos. So let me close this. And I'm going to switch now to some code. So closing slides, and we're going to look at our little demo environment. So for today's demo, I'm going to use the traditional sample app that I always use to demonstrate sample apps, and this is called eBikes. eBikes is one of our sample apps that we provide as open source. And for those of you who don't know, it's about a fictitious electric bike manufacturer, and essentially, well, they sell electric bikes, and you can browse their catalog. You can explore the whole story behind eBikes. But one of the aspects of the eBikes demo, which we not always show and that is not visible at first, is that it's a great environment to present how the streaming APIs work. So let's say our eBikes company has some reseller orders. They're providing bikes to resellers, and they need to place a new order. So I'm going to go in reseller orders, and I'm going to create a new one. They have a number of vendors, for example, Northern Trail Cycling, and I'm going to create a new reseller order for Northern Trail Cycling. Now, for this reseller order, I can select some of the bikes that eBikes offers. So I'm going to grab, for example, this one. I'm going to say I'm going to add a few of these, and well, let's say I'm going to add another one up there. There we have 2 bikes. Okay, and saving. All right, we have a couple of bikes. We're ready. Now, the thing is, we need to provide, now that we have captured this order, we need to send it to the manufacturing division for eBikes. However, the plant that manufactures the bikes doesn't have access to Salesforce. We're using a third-party technology, and this is a website that is looking right here on the right side of my screen. So how do we pass information to them? Well, we can use, for example, the streaming API to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to submit my order to the manufacturing division. And when I click on this little path here, it will update the status of my order. And we're going to use something called change that capture to notify us of a change of a Salesforce record. This app on the right side is listening to the PubSub API, and it's listening for change that captures for reseller order items. So whenever I click on submit it to manufacturing here, you'll notice automatically that my app is being refreshed with the information of my order. And these are the bikes that I have configured here in my order. Now, at this point, the people in the manufacturing division can take a look at the order, and they can probably schedule it in their queue. And they can say, yes, we can produce those bikes, you can have them. So here, obviously, the user interface is a bit simplified, but they can say, okay, we're ready, we can provide those bikes. And when we're going to click on approve, we're going to have another streaming API. We're going to demo here. We're going to use a platform event. So clicking on approve will send a platform event from the eBikes manufacturing site, and we'll send it to the eBikes Salesforce org. So let's try it. When I click on approve here, this closes my order from this view here, and you can see it automatically moved the status of my order here. So that's the practical application, one example of the ways you can work with platform events and change data capture. That's the basics. Now, today I promise that we'll be looking at advanced patterns. So we're going to close this application. We're going to really focus on how we can work with those events. And to do that, I'm going to bring in another tool. I'm going to bring Postman. We're going to look at APIs. So let me just close this and bringing up this. This is Postman. For those of you who don't know, Postman is an API client. It's an application that lets you interact with different kinds of APIs. And here on this side, you can see I have a number of APIs configured. I have APIs for GitHub, Salesforce Platform APIs, the PubSub API, Tableau, and some other things like the Trailhead APIs. Now, I'm using this collection called Salesforce Platform APIs, and this is something we provide also as open source that you can get when looking at the Postman public API network, which is kind of a marketplace. You have this collection which contains all the key Salesforce Platform APIs, like the REST API, the Metadata API, the Tooling API, the Composite API, GraphQL, a lot of these. And we're going to use those APIs here to interact with our platform events, for example, or change data capture events. So first, let's just take a look at this REST and platform event API. By the way, I've already authenticated with my org here, so I'm not going to show you that part. I'm just going to show you how we can get information about those events. So, for example, if you're working on an integration that isn't part of an org, like the e-bikes manufacturing site, you could get some information about the platform event schemas, for example. So previously, when we clicked on the approve button, when we had our order in the manufacturing website, the schema was hard-coded in this sample application. But if you are working on something more advanced, probably a production application, you may want to retrieve first even the schema before publishing it. So how would you do that? Well, you have access to this endpoint. So endpoint is this is a variable here which represents my Salesforce instance. And then you can see the path, the URL, and this part here, the version, is dynamically configured at the collection level. And then there's a path parameter called event name here. And you can see that I can type it here. The event that I'm using in my demo is manufacturing event. And since it's a platform event, the suffix is underscore E. Now I can save this. And when I send my query now, I'm going to be able to see the schema for my platform event. So you can see it here, but this is the description of my platform event. And you'll see the data with the different types of fields. Here I can collapse them, and the channel. So this is a pretty simple event. It has really two custom fields. The rest are standard. Created date is standard, created by ID is standard. But there are the status field, which is custom. So it's a text string field. And there is the order ID, which is also a text string. So these are the two custom fields. Now, this is the way you'd be able to retrieve the schema of a platform event. Obviously, if you have access to the Salesforce org, it's even easier, because if you go in setup, you'll see that there is the platform event view. In setup, integration, platform events, and from there you'll see your platform events. You'll see not only the platform events, but you'll also see this new table here, events allocation, which was added very recently, which shows you the limit for platform events, which is very, very convenient, because otherwise you would have to use also some APIs to get your limits in terms of streaming events. And if I click on my manufacturing event, you'll see the same information as we had in Postman, or two custom fields along with the standard fields. All right, so this is a very simple demo just to show you how you can get access to the platform events. Now, I promised you some more advanced things, so we're going to continue to explore our events. Now that you know how to access a platform event, we can also take a look at how we can publish them with the API. Publishing them with the API is a pretty simple deal. I can go back in Postman, and what I can do now is I can create a new platform event by simply doing the same thing as an S-object creation. So in the S-object section of my REST API, I have a number of request templates, and I have this one, S-object create, which is the basics for creating an object. Now, this is normally for creating records, and in fact, the platform event is very much like a record. So what I would have to provide is just the S-object API name, so that would be my, actually, let me just copy it so that I don't make any mistakes, my platform event name. And then in the body of my request, I would just have to specify the fields that I need. So in the case of my platform event, I just need two fields, order ID. So let me just type in here. And the second field, all right, I'm just gonna mistype everything here. And the second field is the status. So let me just now configure an order, and we can just try to interact with our order with Postman instead of using the manufacturing application. So I'm going to go back now to my orders. So let me go Actually, let me just first look at the status definition for my order. I just want to see the actual API values for my reseller order. So this is my reseller order. I just need to make sure that I'm using the right status values. See if you can see it's status. And where am I? All right, so my values. Okay, let me see. I'm just going to use this one. Well, approved by manufacturing. I'm going to use this value. So for my status saving approved by manufacturing, and now let me just get a reseller order that we can modify. Let's take this one. That's probably the one we just changed. So I'm just going to put it back to draft here for now. And I'm going to go, let me just position my windows a bit differently so that we can see everything at once. All right, put this slightly on the side, this on the side. All right, now that I have my reseller order here, I can just copy the ID of the reseller order and save it here. All right, so again, just rephrase what I did. I prepared the body of my S-object creation request. Platform events are really like a regular S-object, so like a record. The only key difference here is that the name of the object is not __ C or just a standard object. It's __ E to denote that it is a platform event. Now if I go and send, hopefully if I haven't made any mistake, yes, you can see that my order was updated. So this is how you can create a platform event using the REST API. Again, just like you would create a regular record. That's basics. Now let's work on more advanced stuff. I want to show you two things in particular today. And I'm going to use the documentation here just so that I can explain a bit what I'm going to do. There are a number of things you can do that are advanced and that are now GA. You can do a number of things with change data capture. How does change data capture work? Change data capture notifies you each time there is a change on the record. So we saw this when we were working with the manufacturing website, but we can also look at manufacturing events in another way. So I'm going to look at something else now, another tool that I love to use when I work with platform events and change data capture. Actually, let me put it bigger. I'm going to use a tool that I built that is also open source, and that it's called the Streaming Monitor. So this is a Lightning component tool that I built, separate tool. It's not a demo, it's really a developer tool that I built that is on the App Exchange. And this tool lets you subscribe to any kind of streaming events. So I'm going to use this one to work for a test, and we're going to see how this works. There are a number of options here that we can use. We can subscribe to all events in bulk. So this will subscribe to any kind of change data capture events that are activated, any kind of monitoring events, platform events. It will just try to subscribe to everything and it will figure out what is available or not. Or we can hand subscribe to certain event types. So here, for example, these are all the different types of streaming events that are supported by the tool and by the platform. In our case, we're just going to select a change data capture event, and I'm just going to show you how we can look at changes for our reseller order. So here you have all the standard objects, but you can also have custom objects. In my case, I want to look at reseller orders change events. Here I have the streaming channel that is being prepared for me. The streaming channel is the key parameter when you connect with the streaming APIs, whether it's the PubSub API or the CommentD API, the other transport. You would use the streaming channel, and you'll see that you can use standard channels, but you can also create your own channels with specific filter conditions or even grouping certain items together from different sources. And just to finish my quick demo of the streaming monitor, you can either work with just the new events, or you can also replay past events, and you can also resume an event stream from a certain point in time. Every event that you receive has a replay ID, and this is an identifier that just moves and changes for each event you receive. And if at some point you want to replay events, you can start from a replay ID. Now for the sake of the demo, I'm just going to go very quickly. I'm just going to replay all the past events that were sent on this channel during the last 48 hours. There is something called the retention window that lasts up to 20 to 48 hours. And by setting replay past events, this will subscribe to all past events. So here I've subscribed, and you can see here now that I have a number of events that have been plotted. And these are the different tests that I made in the last couple of days to validate my installation. And I can click on some of them. So for example, this is the most recent one that I did, and you can see the details of my event with the structure of the change data capture event. It has a header, so this is information about the database, the transaction. And if I scroll down, most interestingly, there are the fields that have been modified. Here, for example, this is this one, approved by manufacturing, and the record IDs for the impacted records. So if you look at this one, this is the ID of our reseller object that we changed after modifying the status of it. All right, and you can see here also the change fields. Last modified date, obviously, but also the custom field we changed. And when did this happen? It happened when we sent out the platform event to the org. There was a trigger on the platform event that updated our reseller order when we sent the status to approved using Postman. So this is a good tool that you can use in combination with Postman to show your events. You can explore the events using this table view, this graph view, but you can also use a table view if you prefer to see entire data listed as a table. Obviously, there are a number of filters you can use, and you can also download the data as a JSON object if you want to receive all the events that are captured. Another thing that I've introduced recently is this little view here, which is quite convenient, which shows you the limits of your Salesforce org. Now, all of them are pretty much at 0 because I don't use this org on a day-to-day basis, but you can see here that I already consumed some of my streaming API clients, 20% of them. I have actually currently four clients which are connected to the streaming APIs and waiting for receiving events. And so this is one of the limits you want to be very careful of. You have a limited number of subscribers that are available for the streaming APIs. And with a tool like this or with Postman, you can explore your limits and you can look at these limits. There's this one, which is pretty important. There are others, like the number of events you can consume per day, for example. All right, so this is for the quick tour of the streaming monitor. I'm gonna go back to my list. I'm just gonna start filtering my events to the ones that are the most recent. Yes, this sounds good, right? Okay. No, not before, sorry. I want to say after this. Okay. Oh yes, time zone difference. Never mind. Go back to the view, the timeline view. Cool. All right. So now that we've seen the basics of platform events, again, let's to work on some more advanced use case, and I'm going to go back to documentation and we're going to try to group certain platform events together, or change data capture together, sorry. Going back to documentation. What I would like to do now is to work with something called filter expressions for channel members. So this requires that I create a custom channel, and then I'm going to apply some filters on it. So to do that, I'm just going to take some documentation. This is something that I haven't done recently, so I need to follow the documentation, but it will also give you some ideas on how to reproduce it yourself at home. So how do we do this? To create a change data capture custom channel, we need to use the APIs, and we can do this with two APIs. We can either do it with the tooling API, or we can do it with the metadata API. There is no user interface to do that. The only user interface you have to control platform event, change data capture event is this one in setup, and I'm gonna use it because I need to activate a number of other sources of events. So right now I have, well, actually it's okay. I already have change data capture enabled for accounts, which is a standard change data capture, and then a custom change data capture on a custom object reseller order. So I'm gonna keep those two. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna create a custom channel that will receive changes for those two entities. So going back to documentation, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna browse. Where is it? Let's see, custom. I need to search for this because here it is. Because I need to get the template to do this. Where is it? I need the body for doing this. Where is it? Never mind. All right, let's try to do something like custom channel. I need to look at, yes, cool. That is exactly what I need. Oh, it's in the platform events developer guide, not the change data capture developer guide. Never mind. Okay. So how do we do this? We can do it with, so here it's a bit small, but we can do it either with the tooling API or with the metadata API. I'm going to use the tooling API here because it's pretty easy to do it because it supports JSON. So at least it will be simple to do. So I'm going to go in tooling and I'm going to create a new request. I'm just going to copy one of the existing requests. Yeah, let me just copy this one. I'm going to duplicate it. And I'm just going to rename it create custom channel there. Now we need to call this particular resource. So I'm just going to replace that part. We almost have the same URL. Tooling as object platform events channel. Cool. And then I need to copy the body of this request here and paste it in my body. Oh, it's also a post. It's not a get. So this way I have access to the body. Right, post request. And then here I'm going to use a raw request and I'm going to place my JSON here. I need to specify that it's a JSON object. I can beautify it to format it a bit correctly. And now I can specify a name for my channel. So for my channel, what can I say? I'm going to do an account. It's an account and the orders. So I'm just going to say account orders. Like this. This is the name of my channel. I can specify the channel type. There's only one here, so it's pretty easy. For accounts and reseller orders, right? So that's the first step. We need to create a custom channel. So I'm going to send this request. And if everything goes well, yes, my channel is created. Now that my channel is created, I have an ID here. And I will use this ID to add channel members. The channel is empty right now, so it's useless. Now we need to add members to this channel to group several types of events inside this channel. So we can use another endpoint, platform event channel member from the tooling API. So I'm just going to duplicate again this request here. It's interesting. There's a little UI bug. It's no longer a get. Oh, I need to save it. That's why. It's a post. So I'm going to duplicate this one again. And I'm going to rename it. So create channel, member now. Create custom channel member. I'm going to change this endpoint here by adding member at the end. Sorry, it's a bit small. Maybe I should increase the size of this thing. Yes. And now I need to update the body as well. Take the new body of my next request. And this is the body that we're expecting. Let me beautify it. All right, so we have the new body of our request. We can add name to our member. This is just for API access if we do need it. So here I'm gonna use what we had in the previous request. So we had account order channel and I'm going to use it as the prefix, and I'm just going to do order here to denote that this is the order part. Then we specify the channel, the parent channel. This is this one, the one we just created, and we select an entity that we want to add. So in this case, I can add, well, I can add several things. I can either add a platform event, or I can add something else like a change tag capture event. So let's say on this one we want to say I want an account event. I can add, yeah, I can add, like, instead of using a platform event, I can try to use the change tag capture event. I just need to make sure that there is no syntax difference between this one and the one that deals with platform events. So just give me a sec. I just need to double check that. Here I'm going to use the same API and same format, but this time with change tag capture events instead of platform events. Where is it? Platform event channel. Well, this is going to be the structure. No, sorry. This is the general tooling API. No. Isn't there an example in here? Well, I think I took the one. Yes, example diagram. Sounds good. No. Well, you know what? I'm going to use those. So I'm going to, from a selected entity, I'm going to take the account event, which is the name of the standard change tag capture event for the account entity. So if I just do that, I will add the account change tag capture event to my grouped channel. So I'm going to try this, and let's see if it works. No, it doesn't like it. It's not account event. What is the name of this thing then? I thought it was account. Let me see. Oh, in the streaming monitor I should have it. Oh no, sorry. It's. Let me subscribe to it. This way I can see it. So change tag capture event, selecting the entity account, and you can see here that's the name of the entity. Sorry, it was account change event. I will add it to the ones. I'm not going to say replay. I'm going to subscribe to it as well so that we can track both of these two event types. So for the moment, there are none. You don't see it on the graph because I haven't replayed past events. So let me fix that account change event, and let me send again my request. All right, cool. It's here. Except it doesn't like, no. Oh, it only wants a platform event. Oh yeah. I know what I did. I did something stupid. In the channel type, I selected event, which means it will only take platform event. It doesn't mix change tag capture and platform events. So I would need to select something else here if I wanted to have change tag capture events. So let me keep on with change tag capture events. I'm gonna switch the type there. I just need to find the right value in there, and let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to documentation, and I'm gonna recreate my channel members. My channel, and then I'm gonna create some members. Come on. Okay. Huh. Let me just try something. Okay, now that's interesting. The API page is not displaying. All right, let's see if I can get another version to show up. Interesting. Looks like there was a bug on the latest version. So I wanted to say, yeah, data is the right value. So whenever you want to use custom channel members for change tag capture, you can use the data channel type, and when you want to use platform event, you have to switch to event. So let me just recreate this. Of course, I'll need another name. So instead of account orders, I'll need to get another name there. what am I gonna call it? Well, yeah, I know. I'm gonna add another prefix here, and I'm gonna just do CDC because these are change like capture events. All right, creating a new channel there, copying the name, and now let's add some members to our channel. Here I'm typing the name here and taking the name of the channel here, and still working on adding the account change event. So this time we should be able to do it. No, still not. Why is it not happy? Cannot create a new component with the namespace. Huh, what did I do wrong? So my channel was created. It worked, my custom channel was created. And then when I try to add something to it, it doesn't like. Did I mistype it? No, full name seems to be okay. All right, let's see again the documentation. What is it saying? Full name is the name associated with platform channel API. Fully includes the underscore channel, which is what I have here. Oh, no, hold on. Aha, the example was wrong. So this is the name. Full name is the name of the channel. Yeah, full name. Language, I don't care. Do we have an example of this request? Yeah, full names, change, and label. No, okay, this, sorry, I'm confusing the channel member. Let me get to the right request. An example. Full name is the name of the channel, yeah. The event channel. Oh, here is a good example. Sales event channel. Account change event. And okay, so we done thing a bit different. Let me try this way, and now I can add the name of the event just after this one. See if it makes a difference. Let's see. Try to send it again. Unable to find a specific specified channel. I thought I created this one. Account orders. CDC, yeah. Yep, that's the one. Oh, interesting. So, well, normally I should be able to add members to it. I guess I mistyped something. Let's see. Subject, platform, channel member, full name. Full name is a custom label that I want to add, and normally event channel. I probably did something wrong. I don't see it. Feel free to go and use the chat if you spot something that I've missed. I'll be looking and checking, and if you have any questions, of course, also feel free to send them up my way. I'll try to answer if I can. Let's see. So it doesn't find my event channel here, which normally I just created before. So just close this thing, save, no. The platform was created, it's there. I can double check by trying to recreate it. So yes, it's already there, it does exist. Now why can't I create it there? Unable to find the specified channel. Okay. Running short on ideas here. Should I try to add something else, another event type? Well, I can try also to look at it. So another thing you can do is run a SQL query to find your event. I can try to do that now, see if I can find it. So let me just run a query. I'm going to be using the API to do that. And if I do that, oh no, I need to use not the REST API. I need to use also the tooling API to do this. So running a tooling query with my custom query and see if I can find. Yes, I can find my platform event channel members. They're here. So there's the first one we've created and there's the second one we've created. So you want to be working with the second. No, sorry, the first. I'm a bit lost. I shouldn't have created two of them. Let's see. So these are the channel members. So I have two channel members. Some of them were created. Interesting. Well, we can try to subscribe to them now, maybe. Let's see if we can. Yep, they're here. So I guess they're already here. You have change events and selected entity or an account change event. So both of them are here. And oh yeah, they're part of change events. Okay, this is just the standard thing that lists all change data capture events that are activated. So never mind, this is just something that was created automatically when we worked on activating the change data capture events. If you want to subscribe to all the change data capture events of the Salesforce org on all entities, you can use this specific name here, change events, to receive all of them. But obviously you have to be careful because your limits are going to be impacted if you receive so many events. So it's not something you always want to do. Now this teaches me that my try to create the custom channel members did not work. I need to fix this. So what I can do now probably is try to query, instead of querying let's see. I'm going to try to do something else. I'm going to try to look at the fields. All fields for platform channel members from platform channel and see if we can see I need to put a limit on it. Okay, fine. Let me just put a limit. So by running this, I'm running a SQL query to retrieve all fields from all records from platform event channel. Actually, not all records, just the 200 first records. Okay, I need to name the fields. All right, so never mind. ID and I guess developer name should be a good start. And okay, we have our the two platform event channel we create. We are going to work on this one, the account order CDC. So that's the one we want to work on. Let me try to remove the underscore channel from it. Maybe that's the problem. No, it's not the problem. I'm kind of stuck there. I hate it when I'm stuck like that. How can I unlock myself there? The selected entity is the entity I want to add, so account change event, that's for sure. The full name is normally a custom name. Where is it? Where's full name there? Full name. Name of the associated platform event channel member. Channel name underscore event name. Okay, so maybe it's something that I cannot change. So let me just try to, yeah, that's normally the format. Oh, I put 2 underscore there. Maybe that's the problem. Let's try it again. account order CC only components in the same name organization can create it through the API. So there's no namespace in my case. I don't think my app has a namespace, or does it? Let me double check. It's gonna be in package. No, I don't have any namespace activated, so that's not it. Sorry, I'm struggling a bit today. All right, let's see. We have our change data capture channel. Select the entity. If I try again, no, it doesn't work. My channel underscore account change event and not my channel. Oh, I hope I hadn't done this. Okay, well, I'm very sorry. This was my fault. I put in 2 underscores there and it doesn't work with 2 underscores. I should have read the documentation to the last sentence. You shouldn't have 2 underscores before the chn suffix here. It's only 1 underscore. So that was my bad. Okay, well, sorry, we lost a lot of time, but then we can resume. So we have a first member in our custom channel now. I can add another one. So we've added the account change event. Let's now add our other event. Let's add the order change event. So I'm just going to copy the entity name here. And I'm going to use the same format here, adding it here and selecting the entity here. Adding this new member. What's it again? Well, I guess it doesn't like the double underscore at all. Is that it? Yes, it doesn't like double underscores. So good to know. When you type your full name, never put the double underscores in there. It doesn't like double underscores. I should have checked that before. Okay, so now we have a custom channel with 2 members. So I will stop subscribing here to those events. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to subscribe directly here now to the custom channel. So here you notice that I can type in the name of my custom channel. So let's just get rid of that. And I can use the name that we've supplied here. So I can do this here. And let's say I will replay past events and I can subscribe. It doesn't like it. So let's see, maybe I missed something. So how do we subscribe to those composed event streams now? Was it a custom? Sorry. Let's try again. Subscribe to a channel. This is a custom channel. Yep, custom channel. And could it be that it's just a single underscore there? I'm not sure. No, it's not this. Right, so how do we subscribe now? Again, documentation is your best friend, provided you can read it. So let's just see. Now that we have created our, let's see, compose streams, create the custom channel. Where is it? Well, I'll just need to find the right prefix. When you work with those custom channels, there is always a custom prefix somewhere. Oh, sorry, it was there. I'm just bad tonight. So it's the prefix is /data. I can do replace, and now I have /data. It's change data capture channel, not the platform event channel. Okay, and now I'm subscribed. All right, so there we can see it's here, and you can see that we have 1 event per change data capture event for my past subscription. So they're matching because they're the same. Let's try to see now if we can get new ones. So I'm going to trigger a new change data capture event. I'm going to modify, for example, an account. Take this one, for instance. I'm going to modify a field on this one, like the rating, for example, should be good. Putting the rating to this value. Let me actually put this slightly on the side so that we can see it at the same time as I make the change. Northern Trail cycling, changing my value here, and there we see we just received a new event here. If I click on it, you can see that we have received data on our custom change data capture channel. And when you look at the details, you can see that the rating field was modified for this record ID. There. And this is the new value here up there. The order of the fields are a bit weird, but all the important bits are there. You have to look at change fields, and then you can look at the values for this key in there, and you can find the record IDs in there. What's interesting with this type of events is that they're batched, so it's just not a single event, it can be a number of events. All right, so this will capture the accounts change events, but also the reseller orders change events. If I were to do another change on the reseller object, it would also capture it as a data account order, etc. channel. Right. So that's the basic. This is the regular custom channels. Now I wanted to do something on top of this. I wanted to filter those channels with certain criteria. So when you're working with the metadata, you can specify certain filters. When we added those members, we did not specify filter criteria, but you can have an extra field in the expression to add the members. So when we did add the custom channel member here, we can specify another field here. I'm going to copy it, and we're going to do something like this. I'm just going to do it, however, on the account change event. And I'm going to filter, well, let's just keep it simple. I'm just going to filter on like industry equals agriculture, sorry. Now I will probably need to delete my my field, so it's a good test. I need to remove the field, the change data capture event. Sorry, I need to remove the channel member, so I will add another request here. Let me duplicate this one again, and this time instead of a put, it's going to be a delete. And here I guess I need to provide the ID. So there won't be any body on this one, none. And I need to go back to parameters, and I need to specify the ID of the element that I want to remove. Let me just do a selection again. Where is it? No, these are. I need to get the name of the platform change data capture member so that I can remove it. I want to remove this one, the one that we added for the account change event. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to delete this member from my custom channel by selecting its ID and running a delete operation with the ID. 204 means that it worked. Now, just to make sure that it worked, I'm going to rerun this so-called query here, and we should have 3 results now instead of 4 if it worked. Yes, it did work. So we were able to remove our channel member from the custom change data capture channel. I'm now going to recreate a channel member. This time I will add the filter expression on it. Okay? So I'm going to recreate it. No, it's not happy with this. What's the problem? Oh, doesn't seem like it's completely deleted. So I'm gonna use another name. I guess I can use another name with something like that. Let's try it. Well, it did work. I don't know, for some reason the delete operation was a partial success. Now if I do run again the query, I should see 4 results now. Yes, 4 results. And well, I haven't included the I haven't included the expression in the query here, but I probably could add it to look at the filters there. However, now let's try to see if the filter works. I am going to look at my, where is it? I have too many tabs open, sorry. No. Yes, the streaming monitor. All right. So I'm going to just clear everything. I'm going to remove all the data and I'm going to resubscribe to my channel. And that's our channel. I'm going to do no replace, so we only see new events. Starting from a clean slate. And this time I'm going to do some changes to my account. So my account is still here. For the moment, the industry is entertainment. So normally if I do a change, let's say I change again the rating back to hot, for example, I should not see an event come up here because I have the filter on the industry that prevents me from receiving the event. And you can see here nothing is happening. Now let's try something else. Let's try to change industry to agriculture. And I can change again, for example, the rating back to warm. Now, if I do this, I should be seeing, yes, the change that I capture event now. And you can see here, I can see I changed industry and rating, and the values are here, rating and industry, and that's it. So this time the filter expression worked. Now, this is a very simple filter right now. We just have a filter on the industry, but there's an entire query language that you can use to filter on those expressions. You can see here there's a bit of conditional statements. There are a number of operators you can use to do this selection. So this was really the first advanced thing I want to show you. You can do this with platform events, but also with change data capture events, except you cannot mix those two. As I learned today, I'm also learning things as we go. You cannot mix those two in the same custom channel. You have to create separate channels for grouping platform events or grouping change data capture events. So that's the first thing. The other thing I wanted to show you, which is very important when you work with change data capture events, there's a new feature. I mean, it's not new, it's now GA, but it was new up till a couple of releases, called enrichment fields. So this is also working at the platform event channel level, and we can add something called enrich fields. What enrich fields are fields that are going to be always provided in the change data capture events. Why is this useful? Well, you use those extra fields here whenever you have an integration with an external system. So for example, let's imagine that our accounts are also tracked by a third-party system. Now, to track those accounts in the third-party system, you'd probably need a unique ID in a custom page here, in a custom field, sorry. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to modify my account object right as we go, and I'm going to add a new field. So I'm just going to add a little field here very quickly. I'm just going to say it's a short text field, which will contain like a third-party key. So I'm just going to say external ID. You could use a text field, or you can use other formats if you wanted to. So I'm just going to do something very quick here. External ID, 255 characters. Well, I'm not going to require anything. I could also do this. I could use an external ID here, but this is only when you do when you work with Salesforce Connect, which is an add-on for Salesforce. Now let's assume we don't want to work with Salesforce Connect. I'm just going to create it as a regular field, not putting it required, but it should be required. Let me just create it now very quickly. Next, and save. All right. I will need, I probably will need to add it to the layout of my object. So let's see. Refresh the page. I'm sure I know it's not there. Or is it? Where is it? Yes, external ID. So let me just put something there. There we go. So now we have an order there. Okay. So the problem is when you work with change data capture event and you synchronize with an external system, probably a lot of these fields are going to change in the account, except the external ID is never going to change. You want it to keep it in sync with your external system. So how do you work with change data capture with a field that doesn't change? Normally it's not included in those change data capture events. And you can see here on this one, I only changed, you can see it here, it changed, but that's because I just set it up the first time. Next time I'm going to change another field, like for example, if I change again rating to something like cold, and again a new event like this one, you no longer see the custom external ID. So that's a problem. If you need to synchronize with an external system, you cannot tie this Salesforce record change to an external system. So to compensate for that, there is this feature called enrich change the capture events with extra fields. And you can specify fields which are always going to be present in the change the capture event. So let's try to do that now. I'm going to go back to my Postman. I'm going to delete again. I'm going to delete again the new field we added. So that's the change the custom channel member. So we added. Where is it? Here. That's this one. So I'm going to grab the ID. You can see that's the number 2 here. So I'm going to delete it again. All right, deleting the custom channel 204. So this means it worked. And I'm going to recreate. So this time I need to create it as number 3. I'm very original in my names. And I'm going to add this whole block of metadata, which contains the list of enriched fields. Oh, sorry, no, not metadata, just enriched fields. So same thing, I'm going to keep the filter expression just for the sake of the demo. And I'm going to add this block. Let me just fix the indentation here for you. And I don't need all of these things. I'm just going to keep one here. I'm going to have my external ID. So I named it like this. This is my external ID field as I named it earlier. Let me now add this channel member back. Here it worked very well. And let me go now to the streaming monitor. Where is it? And let me just clear everything, unsubscribe, and we're going to resubscribe to start from a clean slate. Subscribing again to my channel. All right, so we're here. And now we can make a change. So I'm going to say, let's take another field, for example. I'm going to change this phone number here. And if I save now, we should receive the event as we did here. And if I open it, you can see I have my external ID as part of the data that I have for my change that capture event. Now, what's interesting is that you can see the change fields here, and the external ID here is not part of the fields that were changed. I only changed the phone number here. We do have industry here, and that's because we added a filter expression on it. It hasn't changed, but it's also provided because of the expression that is active at the moment. So these are really the 2 things that I wanted to show you, which are, I think, quite uncommon on platform event and change that capture, using expressions to filter them and using custom enrichment fields. And I think it really allows us to bring more value to the use of change that capture and the streaming APIs. We also saw a number of tools. We saw the use of the streaming monitor tool. Again, you can fetch this tool by looking at streaming monitor on the App Exchange. You can install it with a couple of clicks. I really find it useful, and I hope you do too. And you can use also the Postman API to work with all of these different endpoints. Following the stream, I will do a bit of cleanup on these endpoints, and I will add the endpoints to our collection. Again, the collection name is Salesforce Platform APIs. This is what you need to search on, and you'll find this great collection of resources with documentation, some videos to explain how to use them, and I think you also find them very useful. All right, that's it for me. I really hope that you learned a few things today. I certainly did myself. I hadn't planned to learn the hard way about not using double underscores in custom channel names, but there it is. We all have things to learn, even though we're using the tool for quite some time now. Make sure to look at the event calendar for the upcoming codeLive. There are a number of other exciting topics coming up next week. If you like them, make sure to subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you soon again for another episode. Thanks again, and goodbye.